Hi everyone, welcome to another Typecelerate video tutorial. In this tutorial I will put a focus on the different sliders that the website offers. These two here and this part right here, which offers many sliders. I want to put attention on that because I put a lot of effort into creating these sliders, and I think users can benefit a lot from them. Into making the practice sessions more geared towards their goals. So let me just complete one test first, and then I'll go into explaining what the sliders do. Okay, so as you can see, some patterns have been collected right here, and the amount is actually exactly 10, and that is because the slider is directed at the 10 value. In the mistyped patterns, well, there's 0 simply because I didn't make any mistakes in this test, but the slider is saying that I can collect up to 10, right? So these are the first two sliders, the sliders that tell the algorithm how many patterns to collect. Of course, in the background, many more are being collected, but only the 10 slowest patterns in this case are being presented to the user and are being taken into account for this test, right? The test that is supposed to show you these patterns. So these are the first two sliders. Now, the next thing I want to say is that for any sliders, you have this eye icon, and this will tell you what it does. Okay, so you don't actually need to watch this video, but I am making this video because some people don't like to read tooltips. So the next slider is the weakness history. This basically means, well, let's assume you have made in the session, you've made it up to the 8th test, right? So actually 9th test, because let's say you've completed 8 tests. So weakness history means that only the 6 most recent tests are being taken into account when calculating your weaknesses. So the weaknesses don't only come from the first random analysis test, and they don't only come from the most recent test. Rather, they are being calculated from the, in this case, 6 most recent tests. So if you want the algorithm to look at many tests, you can slide the slider all the way to the end. And if you want it to look only one test into the past, you can put it on 1. 6 I find for me is a convenient number for this functionality, but you can do whatever you want. So the next slider, the words history, basically means this. Well, let's say that now I complete this test, right? And I type the word vacuum. Now the word list, which is 5K, has the word vacuum in it, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be here. Well, the next test, and also let's say that I made many mistakes in it and it appears right here because of the algorithm. Am I typing it correctly? Yeah, vacuum is one of those words where I have some difficulties remembering how it is spelled. Right, so okay, so it's obviously part of the word list, and it is a weakness in some sense. Will it appear in the next test? Well, no, it won't appear, because when a user is typing the words, we don't want them to appear over and over again, because obviously any weakness that I have is going to be in this test because these are the words that I'm typing. Well, I don't want to get stuck typing the exact same words, right? I want to extract patterns and then give fresh words that have these patterns. So what I'm doing actually is remove the words that have been typed from the word list, right? I completely remove them, so there's no chance that they will appear again in the next few tests. Now, at some point, I reintroduce them back into the word list, and if the patterns haven't changed so much during this time period, there is a chance that the user will see them again. And this number of tests, so like I said, I removed them from the word list, and then if I said a few tests later, I reintroduced them. Well, this number comes from right here, from this slider. So if the word history is 0, then there's actually a good chance that you will see the same words over and over again. And sometimes it's good. For example, when you practice the Monkey Type 200 word list, which is a very short word list, then, and you put it on, I don't know, like a long test, then on the random analysis, it will most likely find the words that you are worst at. And there's no reason why you wouldn't want to practice them over and over again. But if you are on any type of list that is bigger than the 200, normally you wouldn't want word history to be exactly on 0, right? 1 is better. Usually I put it on like 5, right? I don't want to see the same word for at least 5 more tests. Word repetition, basically, it's like behind the scenes, it's very, very straightforward. I take the word list, which is 5K, and I multiply it. So every word appears 4 times, right? If I put the slider on 4, right? What it means, it basically means that there's some chance, not necessarily 100%, that you will see the same word from your weaknesses 4 times. So for example, the word vacuum appears 4 times, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But then the word A, for example, appears only 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. And the word, or say a word combination long term, appears 2 times, right? So 4 is the maximum amount that is possible to see a word. But you can also see it like just once or twice or 3 times. That's the meaning behind this slider over here. Randomness, very simple, like how many words are completely random. They just don't, they come randomly. Basically, they don't care about the weaknesses or the patterns or the user patterns or anything. They're completely random. So if you put it up to 50%, then 50% of the words are random, completely random. These 2 sliders, they relate to the session. I have a separate video on sessions and what they are exactly, but to still touch on it shortly, it basically, if you look at this thing, this is like a progress bar. So a session is just a bunch of tests in a row, where the first few tests are completely random in the random analysis phase, and then the subsequent tests are in the targeted practice phase, where these patterns are actually being taken into account when creating the test. So these 2 sliders control exactly that, like how long is a session, how many tests. It can be up to 25 or just infinity. And how many tests in the beginning are random analysis. So it can be up to 11 or down to 1 or even 0. And that's pretty much it for the sliders. I don't have any more sliders. Well, this is not a slider, this is a switch, but I might as well talk about this too. You can add punctuation to your tests if you want to practice that. I find it personally very helpful. So that's pretty much it for sliders. Thank you.